Another day, another story. From the 1300s, this is where you find the famous Uzbekistan hotel, lots of restaurants and museums. Has a reputation of not being the most exciting place in the country, which is probably true to a point. It's a large city with a lot of traffic noise and all the things that come with it, but Tashkent has a lot of things to offer. If you look around, where else in the world would you find so many examples of seismic modernism? Seismic modernism is the term for the large-scale reconstruction of Tashkent after the 1966 earthquake. More than 300,000 people lost their homes due to this earthquake that lasted for several months. A huge reconstruction began, which brought a lot of people from the USSR republics who volunteered to help. Tashkent was restored in 3.5 years, and the reconstruction gave the city several new residential areas. It became a showcase Soviet city, combining service architectural styles and national decorations. In 1977, Tashkent got a subway system. Today it has 4 lines and 43 stations. Most stations are so beautiful you can consider them works of art, and they reflect typical national motives like cotton, agriculture and such, but some stations really stand out, like the Cosmic Station or Turkestan Station 1. Of the most recent ones, wow, pretty impressive. This is basically a museum and a very affordable one. The entrance is just 15 cents. Until recently you weren't allowed to film inside the subway. Luckily this restriction was lifted a few years ago. Tashkent is a car-dependent city. You can find a 7-lane road even around the Central Park, and the driving style of the locals, it leaves much to be desired. Taxi rides are dirt cheap most of the time. You're not going to pay more than $1 or $2. What about salaries? The average salary in the city is around 4.4 million. Sounds like a lot, I know, but it's in the local currency, which translates to only about $400. The city is very modern and traditional at the same time. Business and modern high-rise districts coexist with traditional Uzbek bazaars and all low-rise communities where everyone knows each other. They call these communities mahallas. Let's take a look at one of them. Foreign people are so friendly. This gentleman invited us to his house for some tea. His family has lived in this house for decades. Please, music, laughter, and then we saw some ladies picking up walnuts. This looks like countryside, right? But we're actually in the middle of the city. Is this foreign music? But if you want to try the most famous national dish, plov, go to the center of Plova tribe by the famous TV tower. They have several varieties of cloth, and you can watch the entire cooking process. Trust me, you're gonna love it. Normally it's cooked by a man and is cooked with lamb or beef. I got the lamb version, and it comes with rice and different vegetables like carrots, onions, and vegetable oil. Now it can be topped with a lot of things. Mine came with a quail egg, a regular egg, and kazi, which is a sausage made from horse meat. Sounds pretty exciting, right? So let's try it finally. Music. Tashkent is a green city that's a countless number of parts, and many of them represent different cultures, like this Japanese garden in the very heart of the city, or this Korean garden. Over the last 5 to 6 years the city changed dramatically. New parks and business centers were constructed, and now there's a real construction boom going on. Tashkent is becoming a real modern metropolis. Now let's talk to some locals. What are your plans for the future? So right now I'm studying at Webster University, and in the future we can study in the US in the Webster and St. Louis, or in Webster in Geneva. In fact, take a semester, yes, in the US, yes, come back 2 semesters, right? And what's your program? What are you studying? Miss, it's just kind of programming. Oh yeah, management information system, yes. So subscribe, yeah, wonderful, thanks. Guys, the city is very safe too. Okay, I'll have a separate video about the scan, so let's move on. Let's get a car and travel outside of the capital. Funny fact about cars in Uzbekistan is that 90% of them are Chevrolet. Yes, you heard that right, 90% of cars are Chevrolet. So if you look around, Chevrolet, and guess what kind of car I ran it? Well, that's the sign, it's a Chevrolet Tracker. Wow, we decided to go outside of Tuscan today and drive to the mountains, and we stopped to check out the scenery. It's Charvak Reservoir. Huge body water, and the locals said there's plenty of fish here and pretty big ones, so might as well stop to enjoy some fried fish later on. But for now, let's continue to the mountains now. Who would have thought that just 65 kilometers away from the city of Tuscan there's a winter ski resort. It's called Amir Soy right behind me, but right now it's September and it's warm. It's actually pretty hot, it's 25 Celsius, but there's still plenty of things to do. Here we're going to take that cable car. It's going to take us to the very top of the mountain, and there's going to be some breathtaking views, and I'm going to show them to you in a second. If you love skiing or hiking in the summer, good, because there are Schengen mountains not far from Tashkent. Music. Finally, we are at the summit of Amir Soy, 2,200 meters above sea level. It's moments like this that you're going to remember the most. Wow, it's me sitting here admiring the majestic mountains. While you're here, you can travel around the mountains and visit some remote villages, and you're going to see some incredible landscapes like this. Foreign. Over 50% of the population still lives in the rural areas. Life here is like a different planet compared to the life in Tashkent. They still cook their own bread and wash clothes by hand. They're also very friendly folks. You can easily find accommodation to stay overnight if you want to, and it's going to be real affordable. I found a guest house for just $10. Let's see what life is like in the Uzbek village.